It is Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show, but in the winter, broadcasting, as you see, from Highland Beach, Florida, where they love football, they love the CFL, and tonight they love hockey, and we'll be talking about that more later on in the program. But we're big CFL fans here and very pleased to have the BC Lions putting their general manager, Ryan Rigmaiden, on, the 17th general manager in BC Lions history, so named on November 20th, 2024. Ryan Rigmaiden, welcome to the RP Show, sir. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, Ryan. Look, I'm going to just only one curveball I'm going to throw you. You're from Spokane. You got a home in North Carolina. But are you following Canada-USA hockey tonight?
8 p.m. tonight. I'll be watching.
Yes, you are. Okay, well, I will not ask you who you're cheering for. That's okay. I'm on record as saying Canada, but I don't want to cause any problems here. I'll say this, man. General manager of the BC Lions. I've heard your name for a long time in CFL circles. I worked in the league a long time. I've never had a chance to interview you ever. So I want to say congratulations on that. This is the biggest job of your career. How's it been 3 months into it?
Yeah, it's been surreal at first, but exciting and something I've worked for my entire life. So, with the process of hiring Buck Pedersen and Neil McAvoy going to the VP job, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
You know, we should probably back this up. But again, you'd have to be a real deep, hardcore CFL fan to know Ryan's name. Like, I knew that you had interviewed for various GM jobs in the past and were real close, but you finally nailed that BC job. You'd been on the staff, and you were kind of thrown into the pressure cooker, right? Like, it's pro football. It's going to be pressure no matter where you are. But can you tell our viewers just a little bit about yourself? Because it's a pretty intriguing story. I'm impressed, man.
No, I appreciate it. Born and raised in Spokane, Washington. Started scouting in the Arena League for my hometown team, the Spokane Shock. Fortunately, we had tremendous success there. We had a long history of getting our players up to the next level, which was the CFL and the NFL. I started doing regional scouting for BC, I believe, in 2011, and then took over the director job when Roy Shivers retired. And so was working with Wally and Neil day to day, so worked my way up. Got the assistant GM job there a few years ago. And then when this opportunity came up to be in the GM chair, it's just something that I couldn't pass up. So, as a scout, you're always hoping to be a GM, and you kind of wonder where that's going to be. I honestly never thought it would be in BC because there were so many qualified guys there, and I went to Winnipeg for a few years, and you do all these interviews. You just never know where it's going to happen, and so to have it happen for your hometown team in Vancouver is just amazing.
Oh, for sure. And won a Grey Cup with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2019. So I can say this. You wouldn't say anything bad about the Blue Bombers, I'm sure. If there is a blueprint of how to run an organization in a culture, it would be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, man. I'm so damn just excited watching. Now, you guys are going to beat them this year. I know that. But you had good times at Winnipeg.
Yeah. And as somebody, I was with BC for, I believe, 8 years at the time. I think it's always valuable for a scout or, frankly, any position, a coach, support staff, whatever it's going to be, to leave home, get into another team's culture, learn how they do it. I had tremendous colleagues in Winnipeg that I learned from. Mike O'Shea, obviously, Ted Gavaya now, who's the GM, well-deserved in Hamilton. Danny McManus, who's an unbelievable Hall of Fame player and a tremendous scout. The work he's done in Winnipeg has been great. So I learned a ton there in Winnipeg, have nothing but respect for them. And yeah, when you go to 5 Grey Cups in a row, it's hard to not be envious of what they've done. And you got to look at what they've done and see if it's something that you can incorporate for yourself.
And for me, I think the key for them is they're all good guys. I feel like you got to have good people to win. Call me crazy. And I think that is, well, clearly you do too, because you named Buck Pedersen head coach. Tab Nathan Rourke as the guy. But I want to ask you, what did you know about Buck? Had you known him long time, or like what made you know so certain that this is the guy I want leading this team? Because it is his first opportunity as a head coach.
Yeah, well, let me first agree with you. Good people build good culture, right? And so you try to surround yourself with as many good people in the program as you possibly can. I was in Winnipeg from 18 to 20, and Buck was the running back coach then. To say I worked hand in hand with him would not be accurate, but I certainly was on the field with him. I saw how he ran a room. I saw how he led his group of guys. And so, as our careers have both been going vertically as they do, you pay attention and you build friendships and you build relationships. You also talk to the opposition. Hey, who gives you trouble? And Buck Pierce, that guy's really good. And so you have an idea of who these guys are character wise and leadership wise, but you also never know until you can get them in the room and interview them. And so we did a grueling section of interviews. We did a first round of Zoom interviews for the coach and staff, and then we brought in the final three candidates. And Buck just hit it out of the park. He was absolutely tremendous. We believe that his collaborative effort with the quarterback is going to be something that helps take Nathan to the next level. So incredibly proud to have him and very excited to get on the field.
As a football guy, let me ask you this. How important is it that he was a quarterback in leading Nathan Rourke? You can't tell me it didn't help Dave Dickinson in Calgary and John Huffnagel in Calgary. I just think there's something to that, and clearly you do too.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We wanted to find the best leader possible, but if I'm being totally honest, philosophically, I wanted an offensive guy, and I'll tell you why. In our league, if you're a great offensive coordinator, you're going to be the next head coach somewhere. And so when you're building a team and continuity is important to us in our building, it's, hey, if we can get the best leader that also happens to have a great relationship with quarterbacks and he's going to be the play caller, that's the icing on the cake. So you don't want to have a system set up to where your head coach is constantly losing his offensive coordinator, because now you've got to rebuild and now you have to have all your players in a new system. So if you can have continuity there and great leadership, it's the best of both worlds, and that certainly didn't hurt Buck.
With Nathan, I had never been around him personally until Grey Cup this year. I've interviewed him a few times on this show, but I can kind of see why now, after being around him at the Grey Cup and at the Athletes in Action breakfast on the Saturday morning, that you guys feel he is all that. And the guy that you want leading your team. What do people need to know about Nathan Rourke, the person, which they don't necessarily care about as much about? They want to see wins, but we've seen that
Right.
too. How's Nathan's mindset going into this season? Because he's been through so much.
Yeah, it's a great question. So, first of all, I think everybody knows just unmatched work ethic and character, right? And so this guy just eats football every day. This guy never stops. At the end of last year, when we had our exit meetings, my friend advice to Nathan was, Nathan, please go to a beach somewhere and just turn your phone off, put the football down, enjoy your family, just take a little break and decompress for everything that he's gone through. And he sat there for about a half a second and kind of smiled and he said, Riggs, I have to throw. And so I said, okay, well, do what you need to do, but just be sure and decompress. But I'll tell you a quick story. I was just back in Vancouver a couple weeks ago. We had some crazy weather come in. Vancouver, usually when the snow comes in, it doesn't stick for very long. Well, it did. There was a couple inches of snow on the ground. There was some ice. I pull up to the building, 8:15, 8:30, walking in. I see Buck. Buck and I are walking in. And he goes, hey, that's Nathan out there on the field shoveling the field to get a place for him and Javon Cattell to throw. So this guy's out there at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, shoveling a 50-yard section of the field so that he could throw. I think they were throwing 2 routes and just perfecting those routes in the corner of the end zone. So the kid is tremendous. Work ethic is amazing. Obviously, his superpower has been his ability to process on the field and just get the ball out and know what defenses are doing. But I think Canada is going to start warming up to the person that he is. He's funny. He's kind of witty. He's goofy. He's a tremendous leader. The sky's the limit for him, and we couldn't be more happy to have him as our quarterback.
What you're telling me is he's obsessed, which all the good ones are. Don't hold this against me. I'm asking you a question from Scott Ford in Toronto. It can be a fun one if you take it that way. He says, Rod, can you please ask Ryan how he feels about 3 Down Nation ranking BC last in their power ranking?
Believe me, I'm not offended. I haven't seen that article. To be honest, I don't pay too much attention to that kind of stuff. Look, I get it. I guess if somebody were to say, hey, there's been a lot of change here, I can understand that. But I'll remind everybody, a few years ago, before anybody knew who Nathan was, I think we were ranked pretty low as well. And we felt extremely good with this roster. So we feel like we've gotten better over the last few weeks with free agency. We've got a tremendous new coach that's got a history of winning and motivating and setting high expectations. So we feel extremely good.
As a personnel guy, you could knock this one out of the park. Ted in Red Deer would like to know, hey, Ryan, when evaluating linemen, how important is arm length as compared to the other variables?
It's huge. It's huge. So just the physical reality of that position is if I've got 34 or 35-inch arms and the other guy has 32-inch arms, I've got an advantage. It's no different than if you watch a boxing match, you're going to see their reach in inches, right? So that length is important. We had a tremendous player here, Javon Olafayole, that played forever. He's also done some scouting with us. A tremendous player and even better person. Javon, I think, was about 6'2.5", 6'3", so he wasn't that typical 6'6", but he had really long arms and he was a terrific athlete. And so if you've got that length, you can overcome a lot. And I haven't met a single offensive line coach in all my years of doing this that didn't preach length, give me length.
Let me ask you this as we get close to wrapping this up. One thing that really impressed me in all my years in the CFL is how the Lions are such a provincial team, very similar to the Rough Riders, man. They love the Lions in Prince George, Dawson Creek, Kamloops, Kelowna. What does it mean to you to be the general manager of that team that province loves so much?
Oh, it's everything to me. It's been a lifelong dream for me to be in this chair, but also in this team with that's got tremendous provincial support. We've got a tremendous owner who believes in everything we do. He gives us the resources to go out and win. He doesn't meddle. He wants to win. This guy's been a lifelong BC Lions fan. And so for me to be in this building with tremendous leaders like Dwayne Vanneau and Neil McAvoy and obviously Mar, it means everything to me. You want to be in a building where there's good people, there's good culture, you can count on everybody. Everybody's got your back. But for the fans of the BC Lions, you could see it at our games. The momentum is growing. And I've been in that building where the attendance wasn't what it was in the last few years. Now it's better and better all the time. I think it certainly helps that, over the last couple of years, we had the 2 12-win seasons and we're trending up. So it means everything to me. I know it means everything to everybody in the building to have such great fan support.
Well, my last question is, you want to play in a stadium where it means something, and you're getting 40,000 now to games. And what's cool to me, Ryan, is that I heard and saw the people say, it'll never come back. It'll never come back like what it was. And it's coming back. And I don't know who's responsible for that. I have a feeling it's Amar, but I'm not inside. I don't really know. What I see, I like.
Sure.
And I feel like you guys going to be filling that place this year. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the idea. And again, that's the direction we're heading. So Amar's our leader. He's our owner. He needs to get most of the credit. But again, there's so many people in our building that do such a good job to make that thing happen. And as largely a lifelong BC Lions fan and employee, being there to watch that thing grow into what it used to be, and to have the fans come back and have exciting winning seasons is everything to us. So we're going to do what we can with the product on the field and be as competitive as possible. We do everything we can to win. I know the business side of things with Amar and Dwayne and Carol and Cody, they're going to do tremendous things to get fans in the seats and make it the most amazing atmosphere that can possibly happen in the CFL.
CFL NFL veteran Brandon London is watching right now, former New York Giant, Super Bowl winning receiver, former Alouette. Brandon says, when I played for Montreal, I always told myself that if Jim Pop was going to trade me, I hope it was to BC. Yes, it is a preferred destination for sure. Hey, Ryan, as a Spokane guy, what's your favorite restaurant? I was in the Western Hockey League for 20 years, called games in the old Boone Street Barn. Did you ever go to games in there? Are you old enough to have gone to games in the Boone Street Barn, Spokane, the old arena?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just telling, we went to a Canucks game a couple of weeks ago, and it was getting a little spicy. And I was telling some of our colleagues there, and I was telling Buck, I said, man, we had some epic battles at Spokane with the Spokane Chiefs. So yeah, no, tremendous place to live. Like I said, born and raised there. Love Spokane. My parents still live there, and I try to get back every time I can.
It is a wonderful city, the Lilac City. Ryan, thank you so much for this, man. Good luck, and hopefully we chat down the road.
My pleasure. Thanks, Rod.
The 17th general manager in the history of the BC Lions, Ryan Rigmaiden. And the CFL players have come to talk, and NFL as well. B-Low, Arlen Bruce dropped in earlier. He misguidedly thinks his name is in the Canadian national anthem. Let's let him believe. And here we are again, me and you the rest of the way to the top of the hour. Tonight, Canada, USA, Four Nations Face-Off Final. Beginning today, Major League Baseball using robotic umpires in games for spring training. What do you think about that? We've got sports updates to get to. Yeah, we got lots. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.